Anchors up, sells it full. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How you doing today, Kyle?
Doing all right, Jared. Doing all right. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. We had a false start, so the beer's already cracked. So, ka-ching. That ka-ching's the wrong.
It's more of a
Ka-ching.
there you go.
Yeah, I really fumbled. I had an opportunity there, and I did not rise to the occasion, but that's okay. We move forward. We try better. We do better next time.
Yes, sir.
All right. Ohio State, Washington. Ohio State breaks two big streaks against Washington this Saturday or last Saturday. Washington had a 22-game win streak at home, which was broken, and Washington had scored on 20 consecutive quarters. 20 consecutive drives. Way more impressive. 20 consecutive drives coming into this game. And I know, because I saw it, I know some people were getting a little antsy because Washington was getting some good drives, completing some good passes, working the middle of the field. But this is a really, really good Washington offense. If you listen to the Know Your Enemy episode that we did last Thursday, we told you this is a really good quarterback. This is a really good group of wide receivers. Is a really good running back. We were never going to shut out Washington. And for what it's worth, I believe I even said that, our streak of holding teams to under 10 points was going to end. I was wrong about that, thankfully. I'm surprised it held Washington to 6 points. The defense played outstanding.
Yeah, defense played outstanding. 22 game win streak. It was a weekend of streaks, Jared, ending.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was kind of the theme for week 5 of college football.
Georgia had a 33-game win streak at home come down.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that more on Wednesday. But yeah.
Let's go ahead and get
another report
right into it here. Yeah. 24-6, the final score here. And Ohio State, you look offensively, yeah, the team struggled early on. I mean, the first drive, they went 9 plays, 45 yards, 4.5 minutes. Should have capitalized. Should have gotten that 1 yard. I know it's Washington, but it is Washington. You needed to get that yard to get it into the end zone there, but they didn't. And their turnover.
Throw Link in. Who cares? Here comes Keenholz. We know this is going to be a quarterback sneak. Cool. If Sayan isn't going, Sayan's not a big guy. Maybe Day doesn't want to risk getting Sayan hurt. Maybe Sayan's not good at running a quarterback sneak because, again, he's not very big. Maybe, there's some hesitation there for one or some combination of those reasons. Throw Link in. Throw Link in. Let him run the sneak. If the tush push, the brotherly shove, when done correctly, is unstoppable, go for it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, other than
he looked good on his last sneak. Well, there seems to be hesitation in doing it. I think when whatever that hesitation is.
Slow start, but Ohio State picked it up quickly then and scored on 4 consecutive drives on the limited 7 drives that they have this year, which is actually, Jared, I looked it up. It's the same number of drives that they had against Texas, 7.
Yeah. I hate the new clock rules. And I have to look into this further because this was a thought I had right before we started recording. I wonder if drive counts are down across the country. Is this a reflection of the new clock rules? Is this something that some people are doing to Ohio State that Ohio State's doing. But yeah, the drives for Ohio State seem really down. Also last year, but also this year. And I'm wondering, because, this has been a chaos rich year already. And in no short part, thanks to this last week where, 40% of the top 10 lost. Now, granted, one of those was a top 10 playing against another top 10, but you get my point. Like, if you're reducing the number of drives, I think that gives the lesser talented teams an advantage. But that's a bigger conversation than we're handling right here, right now. So, game plan, Kyle. What do you give the offensive game plan?
I think the game plan was fine. I didn't really have any issues. They ran the ball well. They passed the ball well. I mean, we saw Washington they weren't allowing anything deep, so Ohio State did what they were given, and I thought they did pretty well. They had some really long drives. They had I can't really complain. I'd probably would say an A. I can't really think too much negative about it. I mean, there was some execution from the team that needs to be cleaned up. Dumb penalties, but yeah, I'd say an A.
Yeah, they only had one bad drive. If you don't count the fumble,
6 plays, 15. Yeah, 6 plays, 15 yards. Fumble. They did not have any 3 and outs in this game.
Yeah, they score. Yeah, so you lose the first drive on downs. It's a really good drive, but just don't capitalize on 4th and short near the goal line. Then they have a bad drive to start the second quarter. Then touchdown, field goal, touchdown, clock kill to end the game. I don't think there's anything wrong with the game plan, personally. So yeah, I'm gonna go with an A.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. It was definitely slow pace, fewer possessions. Yeah, it was definitely weird just seeing Ohio State just pretty much be like a clock killer in this game. It was like very unlike Ohio State.
They've been doing it a lot. Ryan Day is looking long term. I think he is trying to shorten games. Sure,
and I'm fine with that as long as they're executing. That's the big thing.
That is in fact the big thing. In-game coaching for the offense.
For the offense,
health and safety is the biggest part of it, especially like long term. He's playing for the playoffs.
I can't think of anything negative for in-game coaching for the offense.
I agree.
I got to give an A as well.
Yeah, I think that they went away from, there were several occasions in which Sayin was looking deep on drives, and Nestler or whoever the people in the booth were like, oh, well, they need to let Sayin throw it. They need to let. There were several instances in which Sayin was looking deep, but it wasn't there. Washington was giving them the soft shell all game. And eventually they did change up the offense a little bit to make sure that you were getting Jeremiah Smith the ball short, because Washington wasn't going to let it happen long. You made some adjustments. You made sure Jeremiah Smith and your other playmakers got, it's a pretty minor adjustment, but yeah.
I mean, that's what happened on that first touchdown there. For some dumb reason, they're still playing shell inside the red zone.
Yeah.
And gave Jeremiah Smith all that room. I watched that a number of times, that play, and I'm just like, really? Really? But I digress.
Yeah.
Quarterback, Julian Saban, he's playing just lights out. 22 for 28, but taking out the throwaways, which he had 3. He was 22 for 25. Excellent. He was excellent. He I know he had the pass that ended up for Ohio State's only punt for the game, which he had that one back, but other than that, I can't really think of really any other bad throws. I'd say, hey, he didn't turn the ball over, got a pair of touchdowns, 79% percentage completion. Yeah, hey.
Redshirt quarterback, his first road game in a very loud environment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he is still a young player. Make no mistake, this is still a very young quarterback. Yeah, maybe dealing. I mean, it was basically a noon kickoff for Ohio State's body clock. So, and I don't know how much of a, and they aren't flying commercial. I'm not sure how much of a jet lag is. Still, travel wipes you out. They don't travel like we travel.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he started a little rattled at the beginning, and that's fair and to be expected for his age and experience level. I give him an A.
Yeah, he only had 2 passing attempts that first quarter. Again, they hardly that you only had 1 drive in the first quarter too.
Right. They only had 1 drive in the first quarter, thanks to a special teams fumble.
Yep, we'll get to that later. Running backs. The running back crew, 4.4 against this Washington defense, and I was trying to find it real quick, and I could not find it real quick. But I remember here it is. They were 3rd in the country. Granted, who they played, I understand, but statistically, they were the number 3 team in rushing yards per rush at 2.1, and Ohio State more than doubled that.
Yeah,
at 4.4.
Bo Jackson individually at 4.7. Donaldson, who I thought had a really good game, at 4.3. Donaldson doesn't have Jackson's explosiveness, but I think he's a really good second running back. And I think this is Bo Jackson's team.
Yep, this game kind of proved it there. 17 carries.
Yeah. Donaldson technically with the start, but yeah, Bo had the most carries by far. I mean, of the running backs specifically, he had over half of the carries, well over half.
Yeah, 149 yards. So pretty much almost tripled the number of yards that Washington has let up per game so far this year. I'm going to say B+. I'll say B+ for the running backs here. Oh, I think I went out of order. That's run block.
Yeah, you went way out of order. It's fine. Hold on. See, look, now we're back in order. We can do whatever we want.
I would say B+. There was a number of times, I think all of the running backs, but I'm going to mainly focus on Bo Jackson. There was a couple of plays. I think you'll look at the tape and realize, man, if I cut that run back, how much more yardage he could have had. It'll come with time, but he's shown that his future at Ohio State is going to be really bright.
Absolutely.
If he keeps working on it. If he's looking this great early on already, just fix those things. Just keeping his eyes open more. See those cutback lanes. I'm excited.
I like Esquire's comment here. He's at least decisive, and his first decision is usually right. I'll second that observation.
Yeah, B+ for me.
All right, Kyle, now let's do run blocking.
I'm sorry, what was your grade?
I also did a B+.
Okay. All right, fair. All right, run block.
Not great in the interior, especially
I'm gonna say,
for a large part of the game.
Yeah, I'm going to say C+. I'll say C+, honestly.
Washington does have a good defensive line. Like, this is not, you mentioned that they had a competition, granted, but they did have a really good rush defensive, statistically a good rush defense. I mean, statistically an elite rush defense coming into this game, but competition was lacking there. So I think maybe give Washington some credit there. So I'm not going to go quite as hard. Did you say C or C plus, Kyle?
C plus. I thought there's a number of times that the offensive line got like zero push at all. I mean, look at that 4th down conversion at the 5-yard line. I mean, that's the perfect example right there. And there's other times too. It was like, did they have another? I think it was another 4th down it was another 4th down they did get, but I think a lot of it was just, that was on CJ Donaldson just making that really good effort to get that 1.5 yards. I think he got like 1.5 yards and he only needed 1 yard, but the offensive line didn't really help him too much to get that extra push there. So that's, I like to see a little bit better from the offensive line on the run block.
All right. Where do you find a real fullback, Esquire, would be my question. I mean, they're not even popular in high school anymore. Lead blocking's a dead art.
Yeah.
So someone who specializes in lead blocking is a dead art.
What do you rate, Jared?
I did a B.
All right.
I'm just giving Washington a little bit of credit there.
Okay. All right. Pass block. 1 sack. 1 sack given up. And yeah, only 1 sack for this Ohio State offensive line to give up here. So yeah, I thought the pass block was really spot on. There wasn't that there wasn't that
lot of. I think there was a lot of pressure up the middle at times that caused Sayin to have to get rid of the ball quickly.
My first gut was A-. I thought they did really well overall. Yeah, there's times that you said, Jared, that Sayin had to use his legs to get out to make a play happen. But I think overall, like I thought they did pretty well in a very loud environment. I thought they did really well. There's only one false start for the offensive line, I will say.
Which is impressive, considering the environment they were playing in.
Yep.
Sorry, Kyle, what was your grade?
A-.
Receiving.
Receiving. Very, very thinking of expectations here with how what we're expected these receivers to be with Jeremiah and Tate and Ennis, Thurman, Claire, all of them there. I thought they did well. I don't really think there was any drops.
Not that I remember.
I'm just looking at the stats here, and yeah, I don't think there were any drops at all. Yeah, I'd say an A. I can't really think of anything negative. I'd say A.
Yeah, I mean, Sayin didn't have his normal super clean pocket to throw from this game at times. Washington was soft shelling the entire game. Didn't really allow for a lot of deep plays from Ohio State. So there aren't any like spectacular numbers. But as you said, there was no drop passes. They made plays when they had to. So yeah, from a receiving standpoint, nothing spectacular, but perfectly fine. I'll go A-.
Okay.
What did you say again, Kyle?
A. I got an A.
Okay.
All right. Drives conversions. 6 for 10 on 3rd downs, 1 for 2 on 4th downs. They were 4 for 5 in the red zones with 3 touchdowns. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. I'm going to grade it a little bit lower because of the failed 4th down inside the red zone there.
Yeah.
Gotta convert that. So
I agree.
Because of that, I'll say a B plus. It would have been like an A. It would have been like an A for me if they got that and scored a touchdown. But I gotta grade that harshly, so I'll say B plus.
I think you're spot on. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And explosiveness is the last rating, or the grading, I should say, for the offense here. If I'm looking here at like big plays here, I would say its biggest play was 19 yards. 19 yards.
Yeah. I mean, it was Washington's game.
Was shelling.
Was to shell, was to play, cover 4 and other, they were going to make Ohio State march down the field. That was the game plan.
And march down the field they did.
Yeah. And, I think that's what you're going to see against Ohio State. I think that we've seen it for a few games now. That appears to be the book. That appears to be the new book on Ohio State, especially with the wide receivers that Ohio State has. Put a shell over top, make them march the field. It's going to limit the explosiveness, but it limited the explosiveness. So it is what it is. I'm going to go like a C+ on explosiveness.
Yeah, I was thinking of B minus is what I was thinking, taking consideration of what Washington was trying to do. So yeah, B minus, C+. Yeah, I think that's fine. All right. Way overdue on an ad break, so we'll go ahead and take our first ad break real quick here, Jared. And then we'll talk about the defense. TheSloopcast.com is your site for anything and everything Sloopcast related. You can find our Patreon link, patreon.thesloopcast.com, our Discord page, discord.thesloopcast.com, our merch, YouTube, Spotify, 7071, and others, all over at thesloopcast.com. Go ahead and take that first ad break and be right back.
Yeah, Jeremiah's touchdown was 19 yards.
18.
Was the 19 a different play?
It was.
Okay.
Jeremiah had that one too here. I know it's probably not going to show up in the chat on the YouTube here, but for those in the Discord here, discord.thesloopcast.com, always be plugin.
Bonus.
Yeah, that is the, according to the stats here, what's classified as big plays, which is 15 plus yards for passing and 10 plus yards for rushing. Which Ohio State had 9 and Washington had 8. But those 8 they had were bigger plays though, because they had 1, 2, 3, 4 plays of 20 or more yards.
Okay, Kyle, defensive game plan.
All right, game plan. Ooh. I mean, the game plan was keeping Williams contained. He can be a very mobile quarterback, but they sacked the crap out of him.
Yeah.
6 sacks for 46 yards lost in here. I thought the game plan was great, and it's like you're going to have to consistently be great to drive down and score points here. And they really didn't. They had 2 field goals to show up for that. So I thought they did really well. I'd say an A for the game plan.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go in with like an A+. You saw, I think this was a very, you have a defensive coordinator who is of the NFL, and I think what you saw was a very NFL game plan. They weren't going to let Washington get cheap short yards. They weren't going to let Washington get big plays over the top. And yeah, sometimes that left the middle of the field a little bit open. You can't guard the entire thing. So the middle of the field was a bit open. There were, a number of passes in like that 6 to 12 yard zone that were open, but you have a really good quarterback who can complete those passes, and you have really good wide receivers who can get open and find the soft spots in the zones. You can't guard the entire field. So
Williams actually had a better percentage completion, Jared, than Sayan. Sayan had 79% completion. Williams had 82%.
That's because Williams doesn't know how to throw away the ball, if we're being real. Like, if Sayan could have had more sacks and a better completion percentage too, if he wanted to. But yeah, no, I mean, so that stuff was available, and they took it. And then when you got into the red zone, you no longer have to worry about the deep stuff over the top, but so you keep playing hard on the short stuff, and now your long range defense becomes your middle defense, and you shut them down in the red zone. Was it a little bit frustrating at times when the other quarterback completes 82% of the passes he throws? Yeah. Did it work in the end? Yeah.
All right. In-game coaching. I can't really think of anything really negative, really. I mean, when they had Washington on third down, they stopped them. Washington was 1 for 11 on third downs here. So in-game coaching to like, hey, let's get off the field. They did that. They did that. So I think in-game coaching was just great. And yeah, there were times that Coleman broke away, got a long run here and there. Frustrating that didn't get off the field earlier, but I can't really complain. A for in-game coaching as well.
I'm gonna throw a plus on it. It can't, it needs to be said. This is a really, really efficient, well-coached, talented Washington offense. Holding this team to 6 points is a wonderful achievement. Tackling.
I was just looking offensively. Again, granted, I feel like I'm being a broken record here. Competition. They were number 3 in the country in points per game at 48.5. So they knew how to, and they know how to put up points. And Ohio State only giving up 6. I projected 10 because I know how good Ohio State's defense is, but less than 10 there? Yeah, fantastic.
Spike says, what was that fake field goal try? We had like 3 guys ready for it. It almost looks like, it kind of looks like they had that fake field goal on, it kind of looks like it got called off because Ohio State was very much ready for it.
The tight end had no idea what was going on.
Well, I wonder,
he misunderstood.
Well, I wonder if it got called off because only the kicker and the punter were still on board. Ohio State was on board. They were ready for it. The kicker and the holder were going for it, but no one was out there to get to. I don't know if he maybe thought it was a run, the tight end for Washington. I don't know what the heck happened, but even if it hadn't been some sort of big miscommunication, it wasn't going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Tackling.
Couple missed tackles.
Couple missed tackles, and some of them definitely got more yardage than they needed to. Again, Williams is very shifty. Coleman is an excellent running back. Boston and Evans are pretty good receivers, but yeah, they got to do a little bit better on tackling there. So I'll say B. I'll say B for me.
Well, as Spikes kind of alludes to in the chat, it was kind of I'm not going to say it was all one guy, but one guy in particular was missing a few of those tackles, especially some of the more meaningful ones.
Yeah.
You know.
I know. We all know. We're not going to throw people under the bus here, but
I think people
all
know.
right. All right, what do you got, Jared? What's your rating?
I'm gonna go with an A-. Again, because it was. I don't think it was a whole team issue.
Okay.
Yeah, the knee drop was fortunate. Yeah, I mean, it was almost a freaky athletic play, but you know that's why it would have been freaky athletic to pull it off, because that's incredibly difficult to pull off.
Yeah. All right. Run stop. All right. Stats are a little misleading here.
Sure.
Ohio State held Washington 30 attempts for 61 yards, averaging 2 yards a pop. But Ohio State had a crap load of sacks, 46 yards of yardage loss for the sack. So I'm just going to go off of their running back Coleman's stats here, which is 13 attempts for 70 yards, averaging over almost 5.5 yards per pop. Again, granted, he had a couple of long runs there. Actually, he had one. He only had one really long one. He had almost exactly half the yardage on that one there. So I guess it's not as bad as I thought it was. It wasn't. So I think they do well, especially containing Williams, and we saw it. There's I'll get to it in our next grading here, but it really contained Williams from saying you got to beat us using your arm, and didn't. He really didn't. So I'd say an A. I would say A here.
Yeah. It's the 34-yarder. I can't. I'm gonna go B+. Yeah. I mean, Coleman's a good running back, but
again, it was one play. It was one play versus the on the stats here. 30 rushing attempts.
Play. Sometimes it is one play.
Okay. All right. Pass rush. All right. There's a lot of people in our chat, Jared, during the game that was very, very, very harsh on the pass rush here. Early on, because there was a lot of not enough pressure. Williams has all day to throw,
and he did,
and that's why he had a great percentage, 82% completing the ball. But as the game went on,
early in the game, Ohio State was going a little too contain. Yeah, you have to find the balance between contain and pressure, and they were going a little heavy on the contain. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you disagree?
Yeah, I felt they were very playing. I kind of jokingly, Jared said that they seemed like the defensive line at times was playing the entire line was playing a QB spy.
Yeah,
and I know they weren't, but
I know, but you are right. It looked like that.
Mm-hmm. But I think the pass rush was fun, and 6 sacks really helps. Helps out.
But when we talk about those 6 sacks, it is fair to acknowledge that Washington gives up a ton of sacks. And I was joking about this earlier, but it's true. Damon Williams doesn't know how to throw the damn ball away.
Yeah, they were averaging. Let's see if I can do this real quick. They were averaging a sack for every 12.25% of the time that they throw the ball. Ohio State in this game, Jared. Let's do it the other way. 27% of the time they got a sack when Williams was making a passing attempt.
Yeah, Esquire says the number of times it seemed like the defensive line is being blocked because they were chilling, then immediately shed their guy to prevent Williams from scrambling. Sure. And that's what they were coached to do. So,
I'm sorry, my math is wrong. It's 21% of the time.
Again,
still,
like, containment is good. Leaning into containment is good. The first few drives, it's a sliding bar. Containment is a sliding bar. And I think that they kind of maxed out on containment, and, you didn't need to max out on containment. And as the game went on, they seemed to, and especially as Washington needed to throw the ball, Ohio State started to move that bar a little bit further into the pass rush territory.
Yeah. And this was, I'm not going to say it's a coming out party, but
it was
MVP quality.
I'll say it was
game from Caden Curry. 11 tackles by a defensive end. 11. 9 of those were solo. 9 of those 11 were solo tackles, 3 sacks, and 5 tackle for losses.
The 3 sacks will get the big headlines, but like his ability to run down behind the offensive line and snag the running back from behind was huge. The way he would just chase the motion, scrape down the line. He was a wrecking machine. Absolute wrecking machine.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, pass coverage here.
Pass coverage. Again, consider the competition they're playing. I think is important here. And I know that there was, again, some frustration about the middle of the field being open at times. I think sometimes their slot wide receiver got a little too open at times. I'll acknowledge that. But when the defensive line was playing to contain and not rush, which gave Williams time, and when Ohio State was, again, sort of selling out against the long ball and against the short stuff, that is going to leave the middle open. I think that's kind of a pick your poison. Ohio State said, short, middle, long, let's take away 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the stuff getting completed over the middle was, that was the bargain they made.
Sure.
That's how I see that. So I'm going to go with an A-, because again, this is an incredibly efficient, high-powered offense, and you held them to 6 points. And at the end of the day, Williams only had 173 passing yards, even if it felt like more than that.
Yeah, I thought they did really well here, and credit too, like Ohio State defensively had. Yeah, 0. The defensive backs had 0 penalties, like no holdings.
Yeah,
well, the defensive backs said, actually, in general, the defense didn't have any holdings. But either way, no holdings, no pass interference or anything like that. Too, kept everything in front for the most part. Yeah, I think A-. I think A- is good. Yeah, another clean game by Iggy. Yeah,
it was called clean. There was.
It was called. Yeah. A-
he's still,
me, Jared.
He's still a little handsy. I'll say this. You wanted to keep Denzel Boston in check in this game. 3 catches, 26 yards, no touchdowns, obviously. And completion percentage when throwing to Denzel Boston was only 60%. You took their best wide receiver out of the game.
Yep, absolutely.
And yeah, that's going to leave Roebuck and Amari Evans open more. That's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, Roebuck is...
Yeah, Iggy and Jermaine played well.
Keep an eye on Desmond Roebuck for the rest of this year and the next 2 years. I believe he's a true freshman for Washington here.
we are super behind on time.
I know
Right,
we are.
We need to go. Impact plays.
Right.
6 sacks. No.
6 sacks here. I mean, that's the line right there. Those are big impact plays. So
no turnovers though.
I'd say an A.
Yeah. You always like to see a forced turnover, so I'm going to go B+.
All right, and stops 1 for 11. On third down.
This is an A+. This is an A++.
Yeah.
We don't do pluses, but if I could, I'd give him an A++.
A+. A+.
The red zone, and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. And containment, they contain the crap out of Williams. I don't know how much better you can do for a very mobile quarterback. They did exceptional. A+ for containment as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I do need to read this one. Always, I think, throws us through a little bit of confusion. Containment is more like preventing big plays. It's explosiveness, but on the other side. So think about containment more like that.
So A- then. A-
Yeah. I need to rename that one.
Yeah. All right. Quick succession here. Overall for the teams here, Jared.
Literally, we were commenting live. Thank God the defense is in the red zone now. Yeah, no, I literally at one point during the game, I go, Washington fucked up. They're in the red zone. This drive's dead.
End game coaching. I'm doing overall here. A.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Motivation, effort. A.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever the issue.
Yeah. Execution. I'm going to rate this one lower. I'm going to say B. I'm going to say B on this one. Dumb personal foul on both sides.
That one probably
on both
fall under discipline, but
yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
So actually, I'd still stick with B of execution. Like you fail to get points in the red zone. You're at the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big markup for me. I'll stick with the B. All right. Yeah. Discipline. I'll stay with a B as well too. Personal foul
calls,
Daniels, personal foul, and then Houston with the dumb unsportsmanlike conduct well.
Yeah. Daniels was the hands to the face, right? That was his personal foul. It wasn't like
you're right. Yeah.
His wasn't stupid. It was just, I don't know. They had a couple holding calls. Wasn't a good discipline game as far as that's. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's an effort penalty, not a stupid penalty.
Yeah. I'll stick with the B though.
Yeah.
Special team D. I got to go D.
Yeah, you can't turn the ball over. You can't turn the ball over.
I'm not giving an F just because our kicker is still perfect fielding.
Sure,
it's still perfect, and he brings it up to a passing grade.
Fair, but stop the fake may move.
Yeah,
I'll stop the fake. May move to a D-. They didn't stop. Ohio State didn't stop the fake. Washington's fake was dead on arrival.
They had nobody going out to receive. All right.
We talked about this at the beginning of the show. Ohio State only had 7 possessions in this game. You can't give away 1 on the punt return.
Yeah.
Which would have made it 8.
Yeah. Turnovers. I don't know how to rate this one, Jared. Ohio State has not done well in turnovers this year. They are in terms of takeaways, they are 121st right now.
Well, let me say this, and this doesn't necessarily apply to this game, but from a season perspective, it's hard to force a lot of turnovers when the other team just straight up doesn't have the ball much. And again, this
fair.
game was like 50-50 as far as possession goes. But the other games, the other teams just haven't had the ball that much.
Fair. I don't know. I guess
they were minus. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, it can't be a good grade, but it was literally just the punt. That was the only turnover in the entire game, right?
Yep. All right. Overall offense, kind of just looking down real quick. A lot of A's. I see a C. A lot of B's in there. I guess average to like a B plus. I would say for the offense. I think it's fair. I think I'll do B. I think I'll do B plus. I think I'll do B plus just because of you scored on seven of your drives. If I'm looking here,
seven.
Not seven. Wow, 4 of your drives, 4 of the 7 you score.
But here, let's make it 4 of 6. They were clearly just ending the game on that last drive. We won't count the last drive.
Your last 4 drives you score. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
I'll go with a standard B.
All right. Defense A.
I'm going to go
6 point. Yeah. All right. And overall for this game here, if I'm going my average here, B plus and A, I'll do an A minus.
Yeah. I mean, I think I said it. I think the defense had a special football game. The offense
first quarter was special.
The offense was there and was fine. I think I do expect more from the offense, so I think I'll go with an A minus. I want to see Ohio State beat an unranked team by more points. And I think Washington's a pretty good unranked team. I will acknowledge this. They are as far as unranked teams, they're pretty good. But I want to see more points on the board against an unranked football team who, by the way, and again, Washington has a really, really, really good offense, but they gave up, but they let some not great teams put up points against them, more points than Ohio State had. And again, the possessions and the yada, yada, yada. It's not apples to apples, but this team should have had more points. Ohio State should have scored more points.
Sure. All right. I think that's it, Jared. That is our grade card. Let's take a snapshot of that and put that in our records.
All right, we'll do. Kyle, this is the we're going pretty far over, so I'm just going to ask you super quick. Do you have anything in Kyle's corner? I
do not, related to Ohio State here, and because we're running way over, I'll just say that we have 3 professional teams in the state of Ohio that are making it to the playoffs this fall.
All right.
We got the Crew, the Indians, and the Reds.
All right.
Represented from each of the C's.
Yeah. Each team with representation. How about that?
Yeah.
From the coffin to the playoffs, says Spikes. All right. So congrats. Yeah, I think I knew. I mean, I did know. Should I have been confident in knowing? That's a different question, but I knew. Where did my confidence come from? I don't know, but I somehow knew that. I don't know anything about baseball, but somehow I knew that. All right. That's it. That's the end of tonight's episode. Today's episode, tonight's ending music brought to you by a Columbus-based band called Snarls, Snarls, Snarls. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, this is Snarls.